You are the only person who can make this work.
Quick question, can I get your email address? Because I want to send you $1,000 of free stuff.
Here in my garage.
I'm gonna make Monday morning my bitch.
Welcome to the digital gold rush.
I don't even need to name any people for you to understand what a personal brand is, how it seems like a trend now to have one, and how everybody seems to have one with the invention of School by Sam Ovens, promoted by Alex Hormozy. Now it's becoming super trendy and super easy to have a personal brand. We've got the school thing going on with the communities, and everybody's just selling information, even though all the information you ever need is on YouTube and books. If you alternate between the two of them, YouTube University, you'll be completely fine. But everybody seems to be selling, like even for example, I wanted to correct my feet posture, and somebody out there was selling a course on YouTube for like a £50 one-time purchase for me to learn about toe exercises. So people are building personal brands for everything. And today I want to explain why that is, and why it is I've decided to do so, even though I promised to myself after last time, I would never get in front of a camera again. I would never take a picture again. I'd go completely anonymous, and somehow I'm back here behind the camera. So I want to explain that as well, and just essentially what my plan is, and maybe explain a little bit as to why people are following this trend of building a personal brand. So it's kind of obvious why people are building personal brands. It's profitable, right? So there's money involved. There's the whole idea in like the 1800s of there like being a gold rush, like gold's really popular and people getting rich off gold, and essentially that, you know, it got to the point where people started selling the shovel to get the gold rather than like selling the gold or something like that in the 1800s. They call it the San Francisco gold rush. And so that's essentially what's happening here with personal branding. And I know a lot of people have an air of skepticism towards it, like they see selling information as this weird thing, and I want to change people's minds on that, because even I brought a course and it was beneficial, and I think there's beneficial courses out there, and like you can find everything on YouTube, but in a course it's packaged in a way that you're not rarely going to find on YouTube. And I think maybe even putting that money up front as well is like skin in the game, so it allows you to really focus on the information that you're receiving. I sound really guru right now. Every guru kind of precurses their course by saying something along the lines of this, so I'm not even going to repeat that. But essentially, selling a course it's profitable, right? So people will have a level 1 business, so they'll have something like SMMA, drop shipping, something super simple to get started making money online, and then they will have an element of success on it. Maybe they brought a course from somebody else or had mentorship, and then they will take what they learned and essentially just copy and paste it. Like I've seen people sell mentoring offers for like £4,000, where essentially all they're doing is like having you copy their agency layout, so copy their funnel, copy their scripts, copy everything, and then you're available to them one-on-one for texting and like questions and stuff. And people are selling that package for £4,000. You've got people selling courses and they're like, oh yeah, the information is there, but we're showing you how to implement it, and we're giving you access to like Discord groups and stuff like that. So there's all different kinds of personal brands and approaches to it. People need help. Like, you know, if I had the money back when I was starting out with SMMA and I knew better, I probably would have brought a mentorship. Like I said, I brought a course. Even though the information wasn't amazing, like yeah, I could have definitely found it on YouTube, and I did, and found actually better information on YouTube. You know, putting that skin in the game is something you can't pay for on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like you've got to pay to have skin in the game. So what I would say for anyone looking to buy a course is just buy one from somebody who's going to actually give you good information, rather than somebody who's just going to dupe you, if you like. What I'm planning to do with my personal brand is, you see, I'm here every week on YouTube posting videos and talking about mindset and yapping along really. And essentially what my plan is with that, I want to build an audience, right? There's the whole, I've read a lot of books like from Russell Brunson's series, like expertsecrets.com and Traffic Secrets. I've read Alex Hormozy's $100 million offers. These guys talk a lot about personal branding in there, and essentially sharing your story, having people relate to it, selling products and different stuff of that sort. And essentially, when you have a personal brand, you can get your foot in the door to places where otherwise it'd be impossible. Like a guy who's worth $1 million who doesn't have a personal brand is probably less valuable than somebody who has a good following, maybe has 100,000, but they have a strong online presence. And that's the crazy thing in this day and age. You can get on podcasts, you can get access to certain people and situations and environments where you just can't do without having a personal brand and having access to different people and, you know, different opportunities. Like the people that have reached out to me from my YouTube videos is what I could have never imagined starting out, because when I was starting out I wasn't really thinking about that. I was just like, okay, I'm going to document my journey, right? So my plan is to get like hundreds of thousands of subscribers, increase my reach, share my message, share my story, and, you know, grow and sell information. But I'm probably not going to sell a course, right? So that is the plan here. But I thought I would rather tell you now than just go all guru on you 6 months from now. And I don't really plan to go guru. I do plan to give everything away for free in terms of what I'm doing to get to 10k, 20k, 30k a month, and just have a blueprint for people to follow. Like I've made a playlist where it's like 0 to 12k, so all the 0 to 12k videos, like all the mindset you need, all the implementations you need to get to 10k, as I'm doing it in real time and as I pass on and go into other places. Like that's going to be in playlists and really easy, like a course. It's going to be structured like a course for you to just watch my videos as if they're like little modules or something. I want to talk a little bit about the nitty-gritty side of things as well, and like what my philosophy is whilst I'm building my personal brand. Because obviously you can read books like Expert Secrets and Alex Hormozy's $100 million offers, and essentially all of these are one long volume of books, right? Like they're essentially talking about similar things. I guess Alex Hormozy's is like a revised version of Russell Brunson's, but if you read the both of them, they're very similar, right, in terms of the structure and what it is they're talking about. They recommend posting all the time on like content on social medias like Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. But I would actually go as far as to say you don't need to. Like you definitely don't need to be on every single social media. That's 100%. I would say starting out, just pick one and get really good at it, because there's so many people on every single social media and they're all doubled down and dialed down and they're producing like the best content possible for that platform. So if you approach this and go and try and do TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and then maybe you hash it up and like distribute it across different content, it's just not going to work in 2024. You've got, like, even me, like I started out on Facebook, I started out on Instagram, I was producing short form content, like trying to get viral on there and get attention. But it's not worth it, because you've got to put so much effort into Instagram that you've really got to be posting every day to stand a shot. Like going back to Alex Hormozy, I feel like he's the star of this video.
Can I get your email address?
But when it comes down to content creation for him, like if you look on Facebook ad library and look at the amount of adverts he's posting across all the different social medias, Facebook, Instagram, and you look at the content he's posting on YouTube, you look at the content he's posting on Instagram, you've got to understand he has a team of like maybe hundreds of people, maybe not hundreds, that sounds like hyperbole, but he has a team of at least 50 people producing content, short form content every single day, right? And the amount of scale that he has when it comes to short form content, you're not going to be able to compete with that. So I just wouldn't recommend it, and I would recommend like what I'm doing, giving all your time and attention to a platform like YouTube, because you can't scale that the way you can with Instagram, if you know what I mean. Like the short form content side of things, you're not going to be able to compete with the people at the top. But with YouTube, all you've got to do is just get a camera and talk to the camera, which is something that's a lot more scalable, and you have a chance to compete with Alex Hormozy, because all you've got to do is just give across your personality, be quirky, just be yourself, right? Which is going to be like, it is a lot easier to compete. Because when it comes to like this whole idea what they teach in the books, where it's like you've only got to be one level ahead when it comes to producing content, which means you don't have to be making 10 million a month, because it's not going to happen starting out. You only have to be maybe making your first £1,000 online, maybe have your first client like me. Like you don't have to be way in the clouds. But all you've got to do is just document your journey. You don't have to create anything. There's this whole idea when you're producing content, you've got to create new things and wacky different concepts. You don't have to do that. You just got to document what it is you're doing, document where you are right now, and as you have different epiphanies and different points of like perception shifts and different information you're learning in real time, that's what you've got to document and talk about, which is essentially what I'm doing, right? Like I'm not creating anything here. I'm literally just I'm just opening up the conversation that I'm having in my head. Like these are thoughts that I'm having, whether the camera's here or not. The summary of what I've rambled on about here is just definitely don't focus your time, because with content you've got to have, I used to call it back when I was producing content on Instagram back in the day, you've got to have a platform which is somewhere which is naturally increasing in exposure, so you constantly have new people being exposed to what it is you're doing. And that's what YouTube is, because YouTube's an organic platform. So essentially all you've got to do is just post consistently, and then what you'll notice is your reach starts to increase. So your videos are just naturally being distributed to different people to see. And when it gets to that point, all you've got to really focus on then is having a good thumbnail, so your click-through rate's high, and having good retention, so you're not too boring on the videos. But what also increases retention is having a reason why people should watch you, whether that be your background story, which is what I'm doing now. This is why I started recording my videos now rather than waiting till I've got to like 10k a month before starting to post, because I want that background story. So when people look at my channel and they look at my recent videos and they're thinking, why should I even watch this guy's videos? They see the background, they see where I am now, and they're like, okay, I'm intrigued. Like, let me binge what he did in the past. Let me binge what he's doing now in present tense. It's all about watch time. So when you start posting consistently, because people will come onto YouTube, post one video what's super produced, like they spent 2 days editing the video on Adobe Premiere or some nonsense, right? And then they post it, it gets no views, and then they go away for another 2 months, which is just completely besides the point of content production. Like, you've just got to be consistent. Just post one video a week. It doesn't have to be amazing. Like when I started out, you can literally look at the videos. I started experimenting with editing, and these edits would take me 6 hours, 7 hours, and then I'd post it and you'd get no views, and then I'm like, like, did I do something wrong? But that's just not how the algorithm works. The algorithm works is it starts to increase the reach, so the amount of people who could potentially watch your video based on your consistency. So what I've noticed is by just posting one video a week, my reach has slowly increased. So now my videos are being reached out to thousands of people. But then, like I said, the most important part then is the click-through rate. So you've got to have a good thumbnail, like mess around with different thumbnails. It's just about testing, right? It's just one big test, because what might work for me might not work for you. So I just test around with my thumbnails, see what increases the click-through rate, and then see how I structure my videos to increase retention. Like, for example, the retention on my videos now isn't high. It's not very great, but like I said, there's no reason for people to watch me. I'm just a rookie talking on camera. Like, there's millions of people on YouTube just talking, right? So I'm just building my context, and I'm really not attached to the results. What I'm trying to say is retention of the video watch time comes over time, and then with the thumbnails I can play around now, and that's what the essential framework is with YouTube. And if you are to take Instagram seriously, you've got to understand that the kind of following and the kind of interaction you get from people interacting with your long form content, it's a million times better than what you're going to get just posting on Instagram in itself. Like, I used to post on Instagram back, like I started influencing when I was like 15, right? So from 15 to 20, I built an Instagram account to like 200,000 followers. But because it's short form content, people can't really understand what I'm about, my personality. Like, I never used to talk, like it's pictures, right? You can't talk on a picture. So I had these followers, and I used to get thousands of likes on my picture. But essentially, because like people only follow me because it used to be fashion, right? I used to post pictures in fashionable clothes. People only followed me because of my clothes. They weren't following me because of me. They weren't following me because of my personality, my thoughts, what I had to say, my philosophy. Like, they weren't following me for any of these reasons. So it was fickle followers, right? Like, it's not profitable. I can't sell to that audience. I can't really do anything with that information. If I tell them to do something, they're not going to do it, because I don't have any influence. I don't have a reason for people to be like, oh, okay, he says it, so I should do it. There is none of that. There's nothing to it. It's just network opportunities and just lots of partying, right? When I say I'm not focused on Instagram and I'm not stretching myself across multiple different platforms, this is why, because I tried it for 5 years in the past, and I just constantly felt, I need to check if this is recorded. The thing about Instagram and short form content is that you feel like you're constantly on this treadmill, which like you've got to, or is this monster baby, right? But you've got to constantly feed, and it's just really demanding. So you're going to find yourself feeling burnt out really quick. This is why there's this whole notion, there's this whole idea of people coming and going when it comes to content creation. because they feel overwhelmed and like they're constantly on this treadmill. I understand completely, because I felt like that for like 4 years straight, right? So this is why with YouTube it's just completely relaxed. I post my videos. I do look at the analytics quite a lot more than I should be, but I post it, it's a lot more relaxed. I'm not even consuming content myself anymore, I'm just completely creating. I don't have Instagram on my phone. Like I have it, well, I have two phones. I have an iPhone 8 which I bought for like £10, right? And then I have an iPhone 15 which is recording this. I have Instagram on my iPhone 8, but my iPhone 8 is on airplane mode all the time, right? It's just locked away somewhere. And essentially once a week I go on my iPhone 8, I post a couple Instagram stories showing that I posted on YouTube so people can see, and then I put it back on airplane mode and it goes away for the week. So I'm on Instagram one time a week. I'm not on YouTube because I don't have it on my phone. I don't have it on this phone. I have it on the iPhone 8, which I check to watch my video, to like get the watch time started out. I'm not consuming content, and if I am, it might be like a slip, spur of the moment kind of thing, so I might do it sporadically. But I have Unhook on my desktop, so I don't see any recommendations, because it's game over. If you're seeing recommendations, it's game over, because the algorithm knows exactly what you want to see, when you want to see it, how you want to see it. So you're going to see things what you just want to click, and even if you don't want to click it, it's going to split your attention, which is just not what you want to do. Like, the whole idea is to be focused, because when you're not focused, you're distracted, and you can't get anything done when you're in a distracted state. This is why I'm able to be so productive now, because I don't have the distractions around me like the social medias and the YouTubes, and I'm not having my attention spread thin doing loads of different activities like that. I'm just locked in on creating content, fulfilling my clients, and just moving forward. And I also want to talk about with producing content, it's really important that you have the end goal in mind, because this is something else that when I started out when I was 15, I did have an end goal, which was to model for a brand called Gadzhi, which isn't really a thing anymore. And so I achieved the end goal after like 3 months of personal, we didn't call it personal brand back in 2016, right? It was just called posting content. So I achieved my goal after like 6 months, but then after that, it's like the rest of the 4.5 years of me producing content was just kind of blurry, because I had no direction where I was moving towards, if you like. And so what I did, like, honestly, it took me 6-7 months of just contemplating where I'm actually going to come back onto social media for me to like start my first video. Like, I didn't just start my first video spur in a moment. I thought about it for 6 months. I had a plan. I completely got rid of the plan. I made another plan. And so starting with the end goal in mind, it just gives all of your actions in the present moment context, and that is really important, right? Without that context, you're just going to be kind of floating around like, what am I even doing? What do I need to do? So having an end goal in mind gives you clarity, and it also allows you to block out what it is that's not relevant to you, because otherwise anytime an opportunity comes, you're just going to take it, and you're going to be scattered around. You're going to be doing things what are perhaps against your moral interests. Like, that happened as well when I was producing content. Instagram initially, I started doing things what weren't in my best interest, because I didn't have a goal where I was moving towards, so I didn't have any clarity. I didn't have something to kind of filter out my decisions, so I was just kind of moving towards anything, right? And I started doing like questionable things. Not to lie to you guys, I was doing like weird different Instagram videos and skits and stuff what were irrelevant, right? Because I started focusing too much on getting clicks and views and becoming viral, because that's the thing about Instagram. When you post something, you get reach like the first day or two, then it goes away, right? Versus YouTube, you're getting reach for years to come. Like, you post a video like this, you might not even be seeing this video until 5 years from now, which is the best thing about YouTube. With Instagram, that is 100% not going to happen, because there's like there's probably like 1 trillion different short form content being posted every day. It's not the same with YouTube, and if it is, it's probably not good quality on YouTube. So it's all about quality on YouTube, because if it's not quality, it's going to get ciphered out, right? So that's the thing about Instagram. You start kind of pandering to the platform, which is something I'm 100% not going to do here, because I know exactly where I'm going. I know exactly what I need to be posting and when I need to be posting it. I know what the goals are. I know what I'm moving towards. And honestly, that is probably the most important thing what I've had starting out, because that has stopped me from having that feeling of burnout, being stretched thin. Like, I know exactly what I'm doing. It's that clarity, you know what I mean? So I know on my vision board it says I'm going to have 100,000 subscribers. I'm not even fussed when that happens. Like, I know it's going to happen because YouTube's an organic platform. So as long as I progress through what it is I'm teaching and I become the expert that I'm seeking to become, like Charlie Morgan says, become he who can. As long as I'm doing that, I'm completely fine. And then over time, the YouTube subscribers are going to grow. Like the other day, I started posting every day because I just had a lot of things to talk about, and I gained like 50 subscribers in a day. Bearing in mind, I only have like 120 subscribers or something like that. So to gain 50 in a day is pretty cool, right? And it just shows to me and it confirms to me that all I need to do is just keep going, and it's going to work out. I'm not fussed. I'm not stressed about, you know, am I being put on a platform and am I moving forward? It's working out. So I also want to share as well, this is the part where I'm just going to put some B-roll up and just show you how I've got things systemized, just to minimize the feeling of overwhelm, just to keep things completely clear what it is I'm doing, keep things organized, and just keep things straightforward and scalable and systematizable. Making words up. So I'm going to show you the documents on my laptop, which essentially I've got everything folded out, right, like super OCD. I've got operations, business, I've got like an archive section. When I've got the clients coming in, I've got all of their assets in folders in their own little folder section. So everything is super cool and scalable. Like, you learn different frameworks through like watching SMMA and stuff. But what I've noticed is I'm just kind of creating my own frameworks, and then over time iterating and having it become more efficient so it suits my needs, rather than following a framework which is just not intuitive to me. Like, even something I've started doing is the way I've structured my to-do list on my phone. Like, I'm a B-roll this as well. I'm just structuring everything so I can tackle my tasks as easy as possible. Like, I even brought this app earlier today called Minimalist. It's something I already brought in the past. It's like £10. It's a one-time purchase, and essentially you can put a to-do list on your lock screen on your phone, so I can tick off my to-do list without even turning my phone on. So that's something what I'm implementing to just stay productive, keep everything in check, and just be clear. Like, the one thing you don't want to get in this game is overwhelmed. You just want to keep things clear all the time, maintain that sense of purpose and clarity, and just be productive. Ocean surf.